Greetings, programs. This is Wretch. Welcome back to Lamplight City. And we are here in the Chesterton family crypt, guys. We found the secret snack chamber here in the Weeping Angel statue. And now we have some homemade vigor pills, which hopefully will get Andrew Montgomery out of his stupor so we can actually question him. By the way, I really like the border here. It's kind of like we're spying on Miles Norman Bates style, which is kind of strange, but still a very cool look. I don't think we have anything else to do here in the crypt, so let's go ahead and look away. The angel isn't trying to kill us. That's good. Well, maybe because we're looking at it. I do like the fact that Miles is being illuminated by the stained glass there in the shadows. It's those little touches that make games awesome. Well, let's go ahead and get out of here. Hopefully the cop is not. Okay, he's still knocked out in the bushes. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. And I guess we'll head back to Duprée Manor, or Depraved Manor, depending on who you talk to, and give Andrew his medicine. Before we give Andrew his medicine, though, I think we should go ahead and have a chat with the servant girl, who was in the kitchen. I think her name was Amelie. I need to. Hopefully, it'll let us know that. I know it started with an A. Amelie. I think that's how it was pronounced.
Pardon me, miss.
I told you I'm very busy, and I'll get in trouble if I'm caught speaking to you.
Amelie, please. I need to know what you know about Madame Duprée.
What? How did you know my name?
I'm a detective.
Juliet told me about you.
Miss Juliet?
Yes, I spoke to her at the university. She mentioned you two were friends.
Yes, that's right. She's always been so good to me.
Look, Amelie, I'm just trying to get some information. And I have a feeling you can be very helpful if you'd just let me talk to you.
All right, fine. But do it as fast as you can.
Nice.
Tell me about Madame Duprée.
Oh, I really shouldn't, sir.
It would greatly help my investigation if you did.
Madame Duprée was kind enough to hire me as her cook. It's hard to get jobs in the city. Lots of people want their servants to use those new machines. My sister's brother-in-law got half his leg blown off by one of those new ovens. He's lucky he wasn't killed. So I'm plenty happy working here doing real people's work. But Madam can be difficult sometimes.
Difficult? What do you mean by that?
No, I said enough.
She really doesn't want to lose her job.
What do you know about Madame Duprée's supposed death?
All I can tell you is that whoever did it really hated her.
Do you know Albert Martin, the man accused of the crime?
No, I'm sorry.
What can you tell me about Andrew?
He ain't so bad. Kinda spoiled, but he mostly cleans up after himself. Has a whole private part of the house, but I think he only uses one room. Better for me, way less to clean.
What do you know about Juliet?
She was always so kind to me and the others, but her mother don't like that one bit. Still, she sneaks down into the kitchen to keep me company some nights. Even though she's a good soul, I think part of her does it just to spite her mother.
Are you the only remaining servant here?
No, there's another one, Marcel. He's the new gardener. I haven't seen him in a few days, though. Not since before Madam's incident.
Thank you, Amelie. I appreciate your time.
Really?
You're welcome. Now, please, let me get back to work.
Marcel. So there was a... Okay, we got another potential suspect, or someone we need to talk to. Well, let's go ahead and get this over with.
I have some questions for you.
Oh, goody.
You'll never believe what I found in your family's tomb.
Oh? Was it a ghost?
No, it was these vigor pills. You wouldn't happen to know how they got there, would you?
I see you really are good at your job, aren't you, Mr. Fordham?
Look, Andrew, I'm in no mood for games.
Just be quiet and take one of these pills. I'm willing to overlook your unlawful activities in exchange for your cooperation. What you're doing is highly illegal. Let's go for the middle.
I'm willing to overlook your unlawful activities in exchange for your cooperation.
Fine, but you have to understand, I'm not exactly feeling myself right now.
I understand perfectly, which is why I need you to take one of these pills.
I suppose one would help. Thank you. My goodness, I always forget how fast those pills work. My heart is racing. You said you had questions, didn't you? Well, go on, ask them already. We mustn't waste any more time.
Well, that seems to have done the trick. I just hope we haven't doomed him to a heart attack.
That would break my heart.
What can you tell me about Madame Duprée?
I can't believe anyone would be so cruel as to do what that wretched bastard Martin did to her.
Hey.
Mother is kind and generous, and everyone loves her. She's even good enough to hire actual people to do the housework. Not many wealthy families do that, you know. They just use automated machines or hire servants to operate the manual ones.
Well, I'll contact the Vatican and recommend canonization.
How do you typically spend your days, Mr. Montgomery? What are your interests?
I study pharmacology at the university. I'll be graduating next year if all goes well.
Oh.
I just hope Mother has recovered enough by then to understand what's going on. She and Jean were so proud of me when I started university. I'd be so disappointed if she couldn't see me finish.
Pharmacology, huh? And who's Jean?
I take it Jean is your stepfather.
He is. Mother married him 5 years after my father died of consumption.
My condolences. Do you have a good relationship with him?
Not terribly. Truth is, I hardly ever see him. In fact, before the funeral, I hadn't seen him at all this month.
Where is he now?
I don't know for certain, but it seems likely he's at his hunting cabin.
His hunting cabin?
Yes, he often goes there. It's his way of leaving polite society behind and spending time with his thoughts. Considering what Mother just went through, well, I would guess that's where he's gone. Although, to be honest, I don't know why he's not here with Mother in her time of need.
Why do people run away from their problems instead of facing them? Why, Miles?
Do you know where this cabin is?
Afraid not. I don't share his passions, so I never cared much to accompany him on his outings.
Okay. Have to try and figure out where that cabin is, I would assume.
What can you tell me about your sister, Juliet?
Juliet, smart as a whip and just as forgiving. She's a fighter, that one. Despite being the only woman in her class, she's managed to rank at the top.
Impressive.
I only wish Mother was more accepting of Juliet going to university. But you don't want to hear about boring family matters, I'm sure.
Oh, but family matters are my favorite. It's always so reassuring to know how much worse off everyone else is.
What exactly were the circumstances leading up to your mother's supposed death?
A few days ago, I arrived home from school and found her collapsed on the floor. She wasn't breathing, so I immediately contacted Dr. Fellows. He examined her and pronounced her dead. We were all completely shocked. I was devastated. She'd been in fine health. In fact, she'd just been out riding that morning. You can imagine our surprise at the funeral when she sprang back to life.
Well, I didn't ask for an autopsy.
What's your relationship with the servants like?
Relationship? I don't have one with them. They're servants. Mother always made it clear that they weren't part of the family, just help. We've only got 2 on staff right now, though, the kitchen girl and the gardener.
How is it you know Albert Martin?
He works at the greenhouse where my sister Juliet does her research. The 2 of them were involved romantically, and Mother didn't like that at all. I heard their fights. They were ghastly.
What exactly made you suspect he was the one responsible for what happened to your mother?
Well, I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? His mother's a notorious voodoo witch. Those people do all sorts of awful things to our kind. It's all out of spite, you know. He knew Mother disapproved of his relationship with Juliet, so he plotted to get rid of her.
Our kind, huh?
So, you're running some kind of pill business on the side?
I'm providing a service, Mr. Fordham. Not everyone in this life is as lucky as I am. People pay top crown for luxuries like airship tickets and social club memberships. Medicine should be affordable to all. Dr. Tennyson has a patent on the energy pill formula and thus a monopoly on the market. That means he can charge whatever he wants. Students use these kinds of pills all the time, you know. Academic rigors can be overwhelming, and concentrating can be difficult without help sometimes. I've got the skills and the equipment. If I can replicate the formula, help my fellow students, and sell them at a much more reasonable price, why shouldn't I?
There's the fact that what you're doing is illegal.
Ugh, you're starting to sound just like Mother. And just because it's illegal doesn't mean it's immoral. I can think of plenty of examples where the opposite is true.
You're probably the most altruistic person I've met all month.
The sad part is it's true.
Yeah.
That's a rather exotic bird you've got.
Yes, Ray is nice when he's quiet. But get him started and it's tough to shut him up.
Who trained him?
I think he already knew some phrases when Mother bought him. She's managed to teach him a few new ones, though.
Thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
And no heart attack. Can't. Oh, we can talk to the parrot. Let's do this.
Who's a pretty bird?
Ray's a pretty bird.
Polly want a cracker?
No, thank you.
Oh, he's polite.
Pieces of 8?
Hi, matey.
Who's a pretty bird?
Ray's a pretty bird.
I'm going to go through these just all one more time.
Polly want a cracker?
No, thank you.
Pieces of 8?
Hi, matey.
Just to drive Andrew insane.
So long, birdie.
Bye-bye.
So let's look at our casebook here. Locate Jean Duprée's hunting cabin. Discover the source of Juliet and her mother's rift. Investigate the Chesterton tomb, which we did. Ooh. Question residents of Dupree Manor. Okay, I think we may have missed something at the crypt then.
Doctor, may I ask you a few questions?
Please be my guest.
Tell me what you know about Jean Duprée.
I'd rather not speak of him. Madame Duprée does not need to be agitated any further.
I take it you don't look very favorably upon him then.
I'll just say this. If my wife had been attacked and left for dead, you can be sure I wouldn't leave her side.
What a gentleman. He doesn't even leave women who aren't his wife.
I see what you mean. Do you know where I might find him?
I only wish I did.
Those are all the questions I've got for now.
I hope I answered them adequately.
Maybe Juliet would know. And we also need to track down Marcel. Okay. Back to the university.
Hello again, Miss Montgomery. Mind answering a few more questions?
Hello, Mr. Fordham. Not at all.
Now, right now, she's our prime suspect.
Is there anything you can tell me about your stepfather, Jean?
He's a kind man. I don't really see him too often. He seemed rather upset at Mother's funeral, but I can't help but wonder if he feels the same way as I do about her death.
What do you mean?
Just that I get the distinct impression that he and Mother's marriage isn't as perfect as they'd like it to appear.
I'm starting to sense a trend here.
Your brother told me that Jean enjoys hunting. Do you know where his cabin is?
Yes, it's in Fenton Swamp. I went out there with him a few times, but I didn't really enjoy it. Frankly, the place is rather grotesque. All those stuffed trophies staring at you with their cold, dead eyes. Plants are much nicer to have around. Anyway, if you take the main road through the swamp about 1.5 miles, you'll come upon a small dirt path that goes northeast. Take that until you see a small cabin on the left. That's it.
Thank you for the information, Miss Montgomery.
Alrighty.
No more questions for now.
Then if you don't mind, I have work to do.
Yes, ma'am. We'll go have a chat with Jean. Okay, so with the Atlantic Ocean here, and the fact that we're seeing so many kind of Creole vibes. I'm wondering if this is kind of like a version of like New Orleans or some sort of like southern port town. It's very cool because I haven't really seen anything like that in steampunk. Should we just go ahead and go to the hunting cabin first? I got 451 Compton Street. That's the lady. You know what? Let's go... I'm just going to chat with Martin to see if there's anything...
Nothing else to ask him right now. He hasn't got much time left. Best not to waste it.
Okay, never mind then. I stand corrected. I am curious what else we have to do here.
The plaque says Harrison. Doesn't look very opulent, so I guess it doesn't belong to anyone important.
Bird nest, Weeping Angel statue, unmarked crypts. Okay, we may have to come back here. We're not sure what we're looking for just yet. Knock.
Hello?
Knock first,
Is
Miles.
anyone here?
Strange of Duprée to leave the door unlocked. Maybe it means he'll be returning soon.
Hell's bells. That's a good way to get shot.
Satchels, boxes, and other assorted boring things for hunting.
Let's see if Jean has anything interesting in here.
Not very much, except a letter.
Dear Jean, thank you so much for your help. To think that Mother would try and have me withdrawn from my studies is just unbelievable. Don't worry, I won't tell her you made the university change their minds. One attempt to ruin a life is quite enough. Juliet. Huh. So, Jean has a gun, because one of them is off the rack.
One of the guns is missing. Jean must be out using it currently.
Yes.
Who the hell are you? What are you doing in my cabin?
Jean Duprée, I presume?
Yes, that's right. Who are you?
Miles Fordham, private investigator. I'm looking into the attempted murder of your wife.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. Forgive my rudeness, but you startled me.
Perfectly understandable, Mr. Duprée.
This is a man whose bark is most definitely worse than his bite.
Seems kind enough.
You know, I've heard it said that needing to have so many guns is a sign of overcompensation. You really have to wonder about someone who chooses to surround themselves with dead things. I had a nasty run-in with an alligator when I was a child. One less in the world doesn't really bother me, to be honest. An absolute bore. Are these even native to New Britannia? It seems Mr. Duprée is a Bollingworth man. Maybe he's not so bad after all. Not a very dignified end for our friend Mr. Bear. Some high society type in the middle of a hunt. I don't understand why anyone would get a thrill out of murdering innocent creatures.
Can we talk, Mr. Duprée?
I suppose so. Yes.
And now we have the French vibe coming in with the Creole and the Southern. I like this.
What can you tell me about Madame Duprée?
Oh, my dear wife. The past few days have been just awful for all of us.
Yes, I can imagine. How long have you been married?
For 7 wonderful years. Laura and I are just as much in love now as we were on the day we married.
Lord, does he actually expect anyone to believe that nonsense?
You'll pardon me for being so frank, Mr. Duprée, but why are you out hunting and not at your wife's side?
Excuse me? Who are you to lecture me on my marriage?
A fellow married man, that's who. Your wife has just suffered a very traumatic ordeal. Shouldn't you be at home caring for her?
But with all the confusion at the house, with the police investigating and her being attended to by her doctor, I just needed to get away for a bit. Surely you can understand, Mr. Fordham.
There's something off about this guy, Miles. He's definitely hiding something. And for once, I don't think it's from his wife.
Do you know anything about the circumstances surrounding Madame Duprée's death?
Horrible. Simply horrible.
Do you have any idea why Mr. Martin might have attempted to kill her?
Mr. Martin? You mean the boys they arrested? Andrew said it's because Martin and his mother are witches who prey on the well-to-do. You only need to take one look at him to see his trouble. It's a shame they put him away so quickly. I'd have liked to teach him a lesson or two, believe you me.
Yeah, right. A lesson on how to cower in the corner, most likely.
I suppose it goes without saying that you enjoy hunting, Mr. Duprée?
Yes, I do. I consider myself something of an outdoorsman, you see. It's nice to be able to go out and get some fresh air after being sat at the bank all day.
What about your home life?
Truth be told, I'm not at home as often as I'd like to be. I've been trying to make more time, but something usually comes up. Business is business, after all.
Yeah, but what business are we talking about here exactly?
Right.
What can you tell me about your stepchildren?
Andrew and Juliet? I see a bright future ahead for both of them.
What's your relationship with them like?
It's fine. Why do you ask?
I got the distinct impression from both of them that they hardly ever see you.
Well, yes, I suppose that is true. We don't spend much time together. But they're both so busy with school, I don't want to get in their way. Not to mention my job keeps me away from home for considerable periods of time.
Excuses, excuses. I get the feeling Mr. Duprée avoids his family on purpose. But why?
Do you know anything about Madame Duprée trying to get Juliet taken out of her classes at the university?
Yes. Laura didn't approve of her daughter's desire to further her education. So, she sent a letter to the university requesting Juliet's withdrawal. I didn't approve of her trying to meddle in Juliet's affairs. If she wants to study, she should be free to do so. I wrote them a letter myself, without Laura's knowledge, telling them to disregard the previous request for withdrawal.
That's very good of you.
Yes, well, I dislike seeing people being told what they can and can't do by others.
Yet, he seems perfectly willing to employ servants at his home. Well, I suppose we're all hypocrites in one way or another.
I'll be going now.
Au revoir, Mr. Fordham.
That's it? Okay, so what exactly are you hiding? Let's look at the casebook real quick. Speak to Jean. Investigate the tomb. Question residents of Duprée Manor. Okay. I think now would be a good time to head to the coffee house and kind of run our information by. Maybe Constance has some new tips for us.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
I wanted to go over the case with you.
Okay, what have you got?
Jean Duprée isn't talking very much. I think he's hiding something.
Well, you have a knack for making people divulge their secrets.
There has to be something that'll make him talk. Perhaps I should check with those close to him. That's enough about the case for now.
Okay.
That's it, I think.
Okay.
Then you...
Fair enough. That kind of goes without saying, Constance. I guess she's just the hint if you're kind of stuck. Fair enough. Well, we will go back to talk to Juliet.
Hello again, Miss Montgomery. Mind answering a few more questions?
Hello, Mr. Fordham. Not at all.
She's so patient.
Did your mother try to get you withdrawn from the university?
As a matter of fact, she did. Just another one of the many ways she tried interfering with my life.
What happened, exactly?
Mother wrote the university requesting that I be withdrawn. I found out about it when the enrollment office contacted me. I couldn't believe it at first. I thought it was some sort of mistake, but then they showed me the letter.
I take it you were upset.
More than upset, Mr. Fordham. I was furious. I was trying to make a real life for myself. One that wasn't about dresses or debutante balls or fending off suitors. I'd been given the chance to make something of myself, and Mother was ready to bring it all crashing down, just because she didn't agree with it.
But in the end, you're still here.
Yes, Jean stepped in and fixed everything. He didn't have to do it, but it was very good of him. I'm afraid that was the beginning of the end of my relationship with Mother. We never really managed to fix things after that.
No more questions for now.
Then if you don't mind, I have work to do.
That was kind of the last...
Fordham, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Wait, what am I saying? Of course you are! Madame Duprée has been interfering with Juliet's studies and disapproved of her relationship with Martin, hence they're falling out. Plus, the information in Juliet's notes about ethericity, putting animals into a death-like trance, seems awfully suspicious. It's enough to establish both means and motive. That's plenty to consider her a suspect.
We kind of already had done that. Okay. Return to Upton and accuse Juliet Montgomery. I don't really want to do that right off the bat, though. I'm always, in detective games, they always try to swerve you, you know what I mean?
This quack hasn't got anything more for us to learn right now.
Alright. If we can't talk to anyone else, then that may mean that it is the end of the case, though. It may start us out easy.
As amusing as it is to chat with this oddball, I think we've exhausted his usefulness at the moment.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Amelie?
Yes? What is it? We mustn't be seen talking.
Oh.
Anything you can tell me about Jean?
I hardly ever see him. Only at dinner. He's scared of Madam, and so he finds any reason to get out of the house and stay away as long as he can.
Scared of her?
Oh, it's true. You should see him when they're in private, like a shamed puppy that dirtied the carpet.
Interesting.
Do you have any idea why Jean is so afraid of Madame Duprée?
If he's seen the same things we have, then yes.
What kind of things?
No, I spoke out of turn. Forget I said anything.
Amelie, listen to me. A potentially innocent man's life is on the line. If I don't find out who attacked Madame Duprée, he's as good as dead. So if there are any facts or details you know that I don't, you need to tell me.
I can't.
You can. I'm not with the police. If Madame Duprée did something wrong, I'm not going to look the other way. Trust me, I'm on your side.
Madam beats the servants. I think she even does it for fun. I hear the screams sometimes. I don't know how anyone else in the family doesn't. Maybe they do and just ignore it. I don't know. But if Mr. Duprée knows what she do, it explains why he's so scared of her.
Holy crap.
Did Madame Duprée ever abuse you?
No, I was lucky. But some of the others weren't.
Like who? I need details, Amelie.
The old gardener, Guy Dumas, and one of the maids, Celine. I saw Madame going after them the most. Don't know what they did to deserve it. But I would see her walk by in a rage, whip in one hand and a book in the other.
A book? What book?
Oh, I don't know. I can't read, so I don't know what it said on the cover. But it's the same color as the stew spice I always use. Don't know what she used it for, but she always had it with her, just before a beating.
Maybe she'd recite them some of her terrible poetry. I'm sure that was torture enough.
Yeah. Okay, clues are added.
Tell me more about Guy and Celine.
They were deeply in love with each other. I used to hear them talk about how they wanted to run away together.
What happened to them?
I don't know. One day they were here, and then one day they weren't.
Do you think Madame Duprée may have done something to them?
I couldn't say for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if she had. Please, let's not talk about this anymore.
Thank you, Amelie. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Now please, let me get back to work.
Ooh, this is taking a dark turn. Find out more about Guy and Celine. Now Andrew would probably have some info.
I have some questions for you.
All right.
Did you know Guy Dumas?
The old gardener? Sure, I knew him. We didn't talk very much. He was just a servant after all, but he seemed like a nice man. He stopped coming around about 2 months ago. Too bad, really. He did a good job of keeping the gardens looking nice. The new one is all right, but he just doesn't have that special touch Guy did.
So the gardener had a special touch. Maybe he had a knowledge of different types of plants as well.
Were you familiar with a servant named Celine?
Yes, I believe she was one of the maids. I didn't talk to her very much. Oh, she quit not so long ago. At least I assume she did. I haven't seen her in about 3 months.
Thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
3 months, 2 months. Okay, well, we have a concrete suspect right now in Juliet, but I'm really curious where we're going to go with the 2 servants that have disappeared. So I guess we'll talk to the doctor and see if he knows anything and just question anyone else who may have info and kind of see where it takes us. I bet, I don't know, maybe foul play's involved. Maybe they had something to do with it. I guess we'll find out. But if you guys liked the episode, please leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help. And we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.